So thank you, Mr. Ziauddin Hyder. You're joining us from Dhaka. We have with us the advisor to the chairperson of the Bangladesh Nationalist Party. My first question to you is, about the health of former Prime Minister Khaleda Zia. There is a lot of concern. Of course, there has been this outreach from the Indian government, of course, with the Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi himself, extending help and expressing concern. Can you tell us, how is her health and, how are the people of Bangladesh really coping with this today?
Well, as you know, I mean, this is widely known in all the media that um, Khaleda Zia, our leader, Deshnati Khaleda Zia, she has been suffering from multiple problems, multiple health issues. And her health, I mean, she remains critical. Her health remains fragile. But from the sources I know that if we compare, say, between day before yesterday and yesterday, most of the indicators are improving. She's doing better than last couple of days. We are hopeful that soon she will be able to travel to London to join her family, her son, our lead acting chair, Mr. Tarique Rahman, and our daughter-in-law, Dr. Zubaida, who have been very instrumental and working 24 hours to make sure that Mrs. Khaleda Zia's treatment is well coordinated, drawing on expertise from around the world, including doctors from London, doctors from the US, and also our personal doctors in Dhaka. The effort is well coordinated. And also they are waiting, to make sure that all logistics are in place as soon as Mrs. Khaleda Zia, she's able to travel back to London.
So, who are the immediate family members who are with her? And if I may ask, are there plans for Tarique Rahman to return to Dhaka? The big question remains, of course, for two reasons. With his mother's health, of course, being critical, as you mentioned. Also, the elections, are on the anvil. And there is this whole demand also from within the BNP for Tariq to return and kickstart the whole process as time is running out.
Her brother, sister-in-laws, they are in Dhaka. The nieces, nephews, they are in Dhaka. She has her personal medical team. The medical team is coordinated by Dr. Zahid, who is also a member of the BNP Standing Committee. They are working actually on almost 24 hours to coordinate her treatment. And as our standing committee member, Mr. Salahuddin, noted last night that Mr. Tarique Rahman, our acting chair, may return anytime soon. So that's what we're expecting. The entire country is waiting, but of course the final decision will be made by the family. There are so many other, factors that they need to consider. But I think we are hoping, the country is hoping that Mr. Rahman will return soon to join his mother.
He's mentioned himself, there are factors, uncontrollable factors, which he has not been able to describe, of course, with limited space, he says, which, are coming in his way of return to Dhaka. Are there security reasons? Of course, that's been a huge concern, and we've seen assurances also coming from none other than the NSA also himself. And of course, Professor Yunus himself has assured that all help will be extended, and within a day they could help him return. So, are there security reasons, of course, and how serious are they?
Of course, there are multiple reasons, and I'm sure there are substantive reasons for him to make decision. Perhaps that is one of the reasons why his return has been delayed. Nobody ignores the security threat. I'm sure even the government doesn't ignore the security threat. And the government has to do anything and everything, to make sure there's enough uh, level of confidence, and uh, whatever unforeseeable reason and unknown reason, they are somehow under control. But I cannot go into detail because I also myself don't know the detail. I can say that there are, I'm sure, many reasons why my leader is unable to return at this moment.
And you being the advisor to the BNP chairperson, of course, you are aware of, the changing, very fast shifting political landscape in Bangladesh at the moment. The Jamaat is a close second, as many polls are making out to be. How do you see the BNP, and when do you see your party rolling out in full steam your election campaign? And what would you say to the outreach now being made by the Jamaat?
BNP is the largest political party in the country. I mean, that's the reality. And we, BNP is a pro-people, pro-election type of party. And we believe that as soon as the tafshil is declared, and the campaign will begin in each and every constituency. And once the campaign begins throughout the country, many of the rumors, ongoing rumors, they will slowly, fed up. They will go away, and the entire country will be moving onto the election train, and we'll be looking forward to a, peaceful participatory election in first half of February.
How would you describe Tariq's vision when we talk of reforms? And of course, reforms have been high on the agenda of the Yunus administration also. But of course, an elected government would be the one to take it forward. Could you explain when you mention people outreach? What are the few things that have really not happened in the last 2 years, and where are we headed towards?
Well, BNP is historically, BNP is a pro-reformist party. That was pretty much, clear during President Ziauddin Rahman's time, his 3-year tenure. And that was also very clear during 2 tenures of Begum Khaleda Zia in 1991, 96, 95, and 2001, 2006. This time, as you know that Mr. Tarique Rahman, he launched 31-point, state repair agenda already in 2022. And this 31 point actually includes all sorts of reforms that the interim government, Mr. Professor Yunus's government, kind of spearheaded. All were included, or all are included into the 31-point agenda. After some months of campaign with the 31-point agenda, we realized that people, especially men, women, general people in rural and urban areas, of course, they value, all the institutional reforms, the constitutional reforms, electoral reforms, but they value most is what is going to happen in their life. That means how they're going to have healthcare, what's going to happen to their children's education, what's going to happen to their children's employment, how the country is going to tackle climate change issues, how the farmers are going to be benefited, from the next government, what's going to happen to women's life, women's empowerment, so on and so forth. So BNP, under the leadership of Mr. Tarique Rahman, prioritized 8 different sectors, which includes health, education, employment, agriculture, social protection, which is basically family card, environment and support for imam, muezzins, and religious leaders from other religion. So these are the 8 sectors which have been prioritized. We have formed or mobilized professionals, for each of these sectors. We have been working with them. We have been working with them to develop detailed working paper, or like proposals, reform proposals, project proposals. And finally, we have also developed some communication products, based on the scientific underpinnings. The whole idea is to use these, communication products in our campaign. So people in Bangladesh and elsewhere, they're going to see a different type of campaign led by BNP this time. So our campaign is going to be future oriented. Our campaign is going to be very positive. Our campaign will not have too much political rhetorics, but we would like to explain to people, through the campaign, what value BNP is going to add to their day-to-day life in terms of healthcare, getting the primary healthcare close to their doorstep, making sure that women and children don't need to go far to access healthcare. It will explain that people, especially the poor ones, will not suffer from catastrophic health expenditure, how they will receive specialized care through some sort of public-private partnership arrangement. They will learn, what kind of education reform BNP is going to propose or going to kind of bring into the country, so that education system is more closely connected with industries and jobs, so that women get priority, continue to get receive priority in education. They will know what our plans for employment, how we would improve skills, especially of our youth, and connect them with the job market, not only in country but also overseas job market. They will know, what is the plan for BNP to protect the environment, like planting 25 crores, trees, fruit trees, medicinal trees across the country, and involving women, especially rural women, to kind of take care of the trees as a means of their livelihood. They will come to know the plans to, dig canals and rivers to make sure we have enough water, for irrigation, and also to protect the country against flood. So these are, I have given few examples. These development policies are going to be put, into the center of our campaign this time.
While we
So
talk
we are
of
really
people
looking forward.
centric reforms and policies, the big question also is for the first time, I mean, after, consecutive 3 elections, there is this whole demand of participatory, inclusive elections and a transparent governance model. How will you ensure, or how do you think, the interim government can ensure participatory elections? And
Well,
we've
the
seen the
interim
recent
government.
verdict, of the Bangladesh International Crimes Tribunal against, Awami League leader Sheikh Hasina. So, how do you see this playing out when we're looking at elections once again and this whole demand again for inclusive elections?
So the Awami League and the trial of Sheikh Hasina, those are under the judiciary, and I don't want to, make comment because that is under trial. The verdict has been declared, and I don't know what next step is going to happen as part of Hasina is concerned. But if Awami League is charged for his atrocities, murder, all sort of crime against humanity, I don't think the people are going to support that. And as that government already kind of declared that Awami League cannot do political activities. They ban Awami League from doing any political activities until all the trials, all the criminals are brought under justice and fair trials are done, and they're convicted if they're found guilty. So I don't want to, that's why I comment on Awami League's participation, because I think first they have to be duly tried because of what they did in the past, 1.5 years.
Yes, and when we see the election process really, kicking off, now we see the Jamaat-e-Islami making an outreach. In many ways, there are reports where it's claimed that they almost apologize for what happened post 1947. There is this whole outreach by the party, to understand people's concerns and also project a different image from the existing concerns of what Bangladesh is facing today, and kind of rebuilding the image. How would you see that, and what's really happening on the ground?
Well, yes, I remember the Jamaat head. He basically, I think, said this during one of the events during his visit in the US, that they're asking for apology, for all their bad deeds since 1947. I think this is not so clear. I mean, it has to be more precise. He has to come very clearly, what Jamaat really did in 1971 during our War of Liberation, and what kind of war crime, they committed. And they have to kind of tell it very clearly to the nation and ask very clear apology. I don't think that general statement is sufficient, especially for our new generation, to be convinced, of what really happened in the past.
We see a rise in extremist sentiment in Bangladesh, and we see several reports talking of concerns. How do you see this playing out with really, the secular culture being protected at the same time, giving space to religious practices as many would want?
Historically, Bangladesh is a pretty much secular country. We have a very nice history of coexistence. Hindus, Muslims, Buddhists, Christians. Um, I don't see many people talk about it, but I don't really see how Bangladesh is going to kind of come out of that kind of secular culture. But that is deeply rooted in our, in our cultural life and in our social life. There are a few, things happening here and there, but if as a country we remain united, if we can make sure that we have a very peaceful, timely transition to democracy, I think then we can avoid any sort of threat of that sort.
We've seen several visits of several Pakistani generals coming to Bangladesh in recent months. What is the BNP's approach towards, how they see engagement with Pakistan at this stage? Uh, and how mindful are you of India's concerns vis-a-vis that?
I'm not aware of Pakistani journalists coming to Bangladesh. I'm not aware of that particular news, but in general, all I can say that Bangladesh believes in, balanced relationship with all our neighbors, and issue-based relationship. I don't think there is any kind of open ticket to anything. So everything depends on, our diplomatic kind of engagement, and which will continue to have a balanced one.
And how would you see the students who led the protests, the July uprising, now really faring in the political sphere? Is there a huge support for the student party? And how is your party really engaging with them? Are you even looking at an alliance, for example?
Well, the July uprise, I think huge number were from the BNP's, the student wing, Jatiya Bidi Chhatra Dal. They played a huge role. and there was another part, who don't belong to any political party, nor they, engaged with any political activities after the July uprising. But of course, a fraction or of them who a part of them joined the government, and another part they formed NCP. Um, we always believe in fair chance for everyone. So during the next election, the people will decide, who they would like to support, and that will also decide the fate of the new party NCP. If people vote for them, of course, they will come up as a big political power. As far as BNP is concerned, we'll do anything, everything to support, democratic transition. And for the transition, the more party becomes active in the national political landscape, I think the better the democracy is going to be in future.
So there were initial concerns about how prepared is the interim government advisor, Professor Mohammed Yunus, for elections. Do you think Bangladesh is on track, and February first week is the time when Bangladesh will go to polls?
Well, Professor Yunus said repeatedly that he would like to see the best elections in Bangladesh's history, and I want to believe him. I'm pretty much hopeful that we're going to have a very fair, participatory, peaceful national election, and that's going to happen as promised, during the first half of February. Let's wait and see. I think we hope for the best.
We saw, violence and protests, and we also saw almost history being rewritten when we talk of, the July uprising moment. Do you see any changes from then to now, or what the people are really rejecting and what the people are really holding on to today as the country moves forward?
Number one change is now I can talk. I'm talking whatever my heart says, and I can talk freely without a fear that tonight I will be abducted. So that's a big change. Prior to 5th of August 2024, it's a big change. People can write, without any fear. They don't need to fear much. Uh, uh, Another change that I said in many occasions that people's expectation have changed. I think people in Bangladesh at large, especially the younger generation, they don't want to see any negative politics. They want to see positive politics. They want to see that political parties, they compete for good work. They don't compete for bad work. So that's I think a big change, and that's one of the reasons why, as BNP, we and under the leadership of our acting chair, Mr. Tarique Rahman, we decided to come up with all the policies, policies in health, education, agriculture, so on and so forth, and that's a kind of change that we think is necessary for the country, and that's what we think that our people at large they expect from other political parties too.
Yeah. Last question. So, how significant is 1971 for Bangladesh history? Because there have been attempts, of course, and a lot of rallying during, of course, the time you mentioned, July, August, when, there was a claim that, history of Bangladesh starts now in 2024 and not 1971.
1971 remains the major milestone in our country. And 1971 and Shoaib President Ziauddin Rahman, there's kind of come together. And for that reason, this time we decided to begin our campaign through a rally called Bijoyer Moshal, Bijoyer Marsh. So that's how we want to kind of highlight the 1971. We want to highlight the footprints of Shoaib President Ziauddin Rahman and many thousands, hundreds and thousands of freedom fighters, brave freedom fighters who sacrificed their life, for this country. 2024 is important, but it would be kind of indecent to compare 2024 with 1971.
Thank you so much. It brings us, back to the question of, elders of Bangladesh, like Khaleda Zia, showing the way forward, and of course, the young blood, also the expectations from leaders like Tarique Rahman for people of Bangladesh. So I guess that's what you are also mentioning, and we would, wait for Tarique Rahman to speak with us in coming days and months. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Namrata.